Hey y'all, my name is Taylor Fletcher, and I will be giving you my informative speech. For my informative speech topic, I chose to speak about the ethical responsibilities of a listener because it's just as imperative to be able to effectively listen to a speech as it is to be able to effectively give a speech. My definition of ethical listening is listening to one with full attention, understanding, and empathy. Chapter 4 of Kathleen Turner's ebook, Finding Your Voice, discusses the ethical responsibilities of a listener. The ethical responsibilities of a listener are ethical obligation to the person speaking and shared obligation of the speech that you are hearing. The sources I will cite throughout this speech are ebook, Public Speaking, Finding Your Voice by Kathleen Turner, Michael Osborne, and Suzanne Osborne, along with my public speaking instructor, Dr. Don Rodney Vaughn at East Mississippi Community College. I greatly appreciate your attention as I inform you about the ethical obligations of a listener. Ethical obligation to the speaker is the first component of being an ethical listener. The ebook, Public Speaking, Finding Your Voice by Kathleen Turner et al. Informs the reader on what it means to have an ethical obligation to the speaker. Making a conscious effort to block out any distractions in order to give your full attention to the person speaking. As an ethical listener, you should also provide engaging feedback, as well as not prejudge a speech due to an uncommon ground or a lack of respect for the speaker. I like the fact that the book guides the readers into not prejudging a speech based off of the thought that you may disagree with the point or that you don't particularly like the individual giving the speech. An open mind leads to gaining knowledge. Emcc's public speaking instructor, Dr. Don Rodney Vaughn, informs his students that he really tries to be true to the need of having an open mind. Clearly, Dr. Vaughn understands the need for humans to have an open mind. When we are able to convey ethical obligation to the speaker, not only do we gain knowledge, but we also gain respect. The first thing you can do to become a more ethical listener is learning to have an open mind. Think of all the possibilities and the things you could learn if you had an open mind. An open mind leads to a more knowledge-filled life. You can learn things anywhere you go. Whether you're learning about a subject in school, life skills, an open mind is always beneficial. The second part of becoming an ethical listener is learning that you have a shared obligation for the impact and the consequences for the speeches that you as a listener are hearing. The ebook gives examples to relay what it means that you have shared obligations to the speaker. As mentioned, listeners have the responsibilities of interpreting and evaluating speeches. Therefore, your reaction as a listener has a massive impact on the lives of others. Along with that comes the responsibility of the discussions that emerge from your engagement. As the book points out, that dishonest and manipulative speaking stems from poor listening. I like that the book informs readers on the negative effects of poor listening. Basically, just listen. Dr. Vaughn points out that you can learn something from anyone. He says, an idea is an idea, and when we are learning about ideas, we are learning. I like that he points this out. Even though it is so simple, it is most definitely true. If listeners took their responsibilities as seriously as the book says we should, we would have more ethical listeners as well as more ethical speakers. In conclusion, I have presented information to make us all ethical listeners and the simple ways we can consciously make that happen. I will go through them once more as a reminder with hopes they will stick in your mind. In order to become an ethical listener, we first have to recognize our ethical responsibility to the speaker. Next, we have to recognize the shared obligation of the speech we are hearing. My name is Taylor Fletcher. Thank you for listening, and I hope you took something from my informative speech.